So if we get ourselves into a top of backswing position, what I see a lot of golfers do when they start down is they open the face too much. And what we'll key in on here is where the club face is at. If you see my club face here, and I don't have my little magnet tool, but you notice that the toe of the club is to the right or behind the heel of the club, or the club face would be pointing some amount up towards the sky here. That is absolutely the biggest mistake that I see. When you have an open club face here, from here, there's no chance you're gonna rotate your body well. You're typically not gonna have good shaft lean. You're gonna have to do things like flip, like stand up, like early extend to try and square that face. I would say 80% or more of the issues I see at or past impact come from an open club face earlier on. So if this is the issue, if the club face being pointed up towards the sky is the issue here, what is the solution? I want to talk to you today about live view golf. Now, you guys hear me say all the time that you need feedback when you're practicing. You need to know if you're actually doing what you're trying to do, and the best way to give yourself feedback ultimately is video. And not only is video the best way to give yourself feedback, but being able to see yourself simultaneously as you're doing a movement is the best form of video feedback. It's the best way I've seen to make changes in your swing and be able to correlate the differences between your feels and your reels. Live view is super easy to use and set up. Simply set it up behind or in front of you. You connect it with your iPad or phone, pop that on the ground. You can actually do your practice, see yourself as you're doing it, the best way to expedite your process. I encourage you guys to check out Live View Golf. We'll put a link in the description down below with a coupon code. Hey guys, Eric here, back outside at the Bethlehem Golf Club. In today's video, we're going to talk about the biggest mistake that I see golfers make to start the downswing. You guys, do me a favor, if you guys are watching this and like our videos, click that like button down below for us. Really helps us out here with our YouTube channel. But what is the biggest mistake? What's the biggest mistake golfers make when starting the downswing? Well, it's not body transition and motions. It's not shallowing the shaft. It's not improving body rotation. It is opening the club face too much. And I hope that we hit this home here in other videos so that it hits home for you. In my opinion, when you kind of make a board of priorities, what are the most important pieces to build a golf swing? Whether you're an absolute beginner and haven't played anymore, or you're a touring professional, where the club face is at, and getting the club face square or closed to start your downswing is incredibly important. The number one priority to have all those good things, to shallow the shaft, to have good rotation, etc., etc. And so here's what I want to show you. I want to show you what the bad version is, and I want to get right into how you can fix these things from the top. So here's what I typically see as the worst thing to start down. So if we get ourselves into a top of backswing position, what I see a lot of golfers do when they start down is they open the face too much. And what we'll key in on here is where the club face is at. If you see my club face here, and I don't have my little magnet tool, but you notice that the toe of the club is to the right or behind the heel of the club, or the club face would be pointing some amount up towards the sky here. That is absolutely the biggest mistake that I see. When you have an open club face here, from here, there's no chance you're gonna rotate your body well. You're typically not gonna have good shaft lean. You're gonna have to do things like flip, like stand up, like early extend to try and square that face. I would say 80% or more of the issues I see at or past impact come from an open club face earlier on. So if this is the issue, if the club face being pointed up towards the sky is the issue here, what is the solution? Well, like a lot of solutions, the solution for the problem is the opposite and exaggerated. So what's the opposite of the club face pointed up towards the sky? The opposite of up would be pointed down towards the ground. Now there's key parts in terms of how you do this that we're going to talk about, but getting the club face down towards the ground during the downswing, so that'd be the toe of the club now in front of the heel of the club, or the club face pointed down. How far down? Well, I'd say toe up is as much as, at least as much as you want. And then having the toe more down, all the way to the point where it can get about 45 degrees. The more tilted down, the better, so long as you have enough speed. So I want to dive right in here and talk about the drill, my favorite drill to be able to fix this, and feels for you. Okay, so my favorite drill and feels here. Now I'm going to take my setup and we're going to do this with an 8-iron. I'm going to demonstrate with a sand wedge and a driver is the same for all clubs. Here's the drill motion. If I take my normal setup, I'm going to take an alignment rod, or you can take a club, and I'm going to put it on the ground diagonally behind me. Now I have that at about a 45-degree angle, or said differently, if I have this clock here, which I keep messing up, let's say I have 12 o'clock right in front of me, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, that's on roughly a 4 o'clock is kind of what we're looking for the stick. It's a nice little exaggeration. Now what's the stick here and how do we fix this? When we go up to the top, how we're going to fix this is to feel like I point the club face down towards the ground, but I don't do it like this, where it's pointed down towards the ground and too far out in front of me. I want to feel it point down towards the ground and be inside my hands. So for me, for my visual, it's going to be basically right on this stick from my viewpoint is where I'm going to tilt that down. So I don't tilt it down over the top like this. I don't tilt it down straight this way, because if your club face is normally open, you're already swinging too far over the top likely. You need to fix both those. We need to fix the club face first and fix the delivery position here. So that's the idea. Up to the top, twist the club face down towards the ground and get the shaft on this shaft. So it's going to feel like you're twisting it back behind you. So I feel for me like that club head is going down towards the ground, twisting it down, but the shaft is like 45 degrees. Now for me to be able to do that, I feel the face pointed down. I feel the back of my left hand pointed down or bowed some, and I really feel my right wrist bent back as much as it possibly can get, and my palm more towards the ground. So those are the sensations up to the top. Tilt the face down and get the shaft down behind you. Logo of the glove down, right palm down. Notice I didn't throw my wrist angles. I didn't overly extend my right arm. So my right arm's still bent, my right wrist is bent, the face is down. Up to the top. Back of my left hand, right palm towards the ground. Right wrist is bent back, right arm is bent. All those pieces here is what I have. And now from there, I can deliver it and get all the other things I want. Good swing direction, good shaft lean, good contact, etc. So what I would do is take your setup, put a stick on the ground at 4 o'clock, rehearse some of those, ideally use a camera, and start to hit some. If you normally have a club face that's too open and over the top, you probably have some compression issues, you probably hit the ball too high, maybe some pulls and fades. What you're looking for here is much better compression. If you're still a little over the top, you might hit some fades, but the ball should be hit a lot more solid. And what I would do is take your normal setup, go up to the top, tilt the club face down, get the back of your left hand, right wrist down, feel that once or twice, and then go ahead in and hit and try and feel that same sensation. And what's important and what's going to help you turn that fade motion into a draw is where the shaft is going. You definitely need to tilt the club face down. You got to twist the face down. Not over here, but you're twisting it behind you. You're twisting it behind you. So for me, I feel like I'm throwing the club back here, like way behind me as I'm twisting the face down. And for me to do that, my wrist conditions need to look a lot different. Again, not throwing the right arm and right wrist to square it. Right arm stays bent, right wrist stays bent, twist it, and you get the shaft more behind you from here. Again, from there, from face on, I bet that looks like a lot of the lag and shaft than you want. So one more time, shaft is at 4. I'm gonna rehearse that, tilt the face down over 4 o'clock, throw the club head behind me while keeping my right wrist and right arm bent. Feel what that feels like, and then go ahead and try and feel the same piece. And I know you guys obviously can't see that ball flight pattern, but that's probably about a 5 to 10 yard draw. A little bit more of a draw for me, but that's the issue that we want to have, right? If we can get to the point where the ball's hooking too much, that's key. So if this is your problem, the biggest mistake, having the club face too open, you have to fix the face first by twisting it with your hands, bending back your right wrist, bowing your left wrist, get the face down, but you must also get the shaft more behind you. Do the face first, do the shaft second. That'll help your compression a lot. Okay, so real quick before the end here, guys, just wanted to make sure it's clear. We are gonna do the same things here with other clubs. So if I have a wedge or a driver, it will be the same pieces. So I have my 56-degree sand wedge. I'm gonna put the club down on the ground at about 4 o'clock, and I'm gonna feel the same sensations. If I'm the golfer whose face is too open, I'm gonna come down. Again, the key being get the face pointed down towards the ground while keeping the right elbow and right wrist bent, on that about 4 o'clock, feel what that feels like. And then I'm gonna go ahead and feel the same thing. Face tilted down on the 4 o'clock, keep the right wrist and right arm bent. And I can do that with a wedge, and I can also do that same thing with a driver. Now again, this gets a little bit speed dependent, but if your face is too open, you'd rather get a little bit more towards the too closed, typically speaking, but I wanna feel the same thing with my driver. I'm up to the top, I'm gonna feel the club head working behind me, keeping my right arm and right wrist bent, right? And have the face pointed down towards the ground. So 4 o'clock, right wrist bent, right arm bent, face tilted down, and I'm gonna feel the same pieces with my driver. Awesome, and for a lot of you that get the face too open, the compression pieces, how solid you hit those, and don't worry about thinking you don't wanna use your hands or twisting the shaft. If your face is too open, you have to twist it. This will help your compression big time. Hey guys, if you like this video, you're gonna see a couple things here on the screen. On my left-hand side are gonna be recommended videos here that are more YouTube videos about what we talked about today, specifically talking more about the wrist angles and getting that club face closed to start your downswing. If you wanna see more on that, go ahead and click one of those two. At the bottom, you'll see a link to CogornoGolf.com or a box that'll take you there for more guided feedback about these same pieces, more step-by-step learning. Go ahead and click that if you wanna head over to CogornoGolf.com.